we probably ought to move on. Deanne, where are we going?
So we have our paranormal bucket list. And Merlin, I think we had you scheduled for telling us what your bucket list item is.
Oh man, that's a big list.
Well, and we don't need the whole list. Save some for
I know.
later.
One at a
I
time,
will-
big guy. One at a
I
time.
will start with just one, and it's got to be Dracula's castle.
Ooh, that's a good one.
My brother has been there. He
Ooh.
went to Romania on his mission, and he's been there, and he sucks because I want to go, and I want to like spend the night there.
So was he able to go in? Was he able to go visit it? 'Cause I know
he went long before COVID was a thing in existence. And yeah, he got a tour through it, and he said it was the creepiest place he's ever been.
Oh, I bet. I've seen some documentaries on it, but I would have to add that to my bucket list.
I watched that documentary, Van Helsing.
That's not
With-
a documentary.
with
Hugh Jackman. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And those hot vampire girls.
Okay. Yeah. If you go, they're not going to be there at the castle if you go.
There was
They
a
might
Frankenstein's
be.
monster in there, too, somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It was a great documentary.
Awesome. So, in our paranormal junk drawer, if you remember, our last podcast was about angels, and I had about 3 or 4 angel stories I was going to read in the podcast, like real life angel encounters, and I forgot.
Sorry.
I suck. Sorry, folks. So, but you're still going to get them. We will just do them in our paranormal junk drawer. So, paranormal junk drawer, angel story number 1. You'll have to keep listening to hear the other 2. There is a man named Dean S., and he experienced some pain when he was going through a divorce. He was about 26 years old, and just if you've gone through a divorce, whether you instigate it or not, it's still painful. It's painful no matter what you do. And the thought of being apart from his 2 young daughters was just more than he could bear, and he was really having a tough time, understandably so. On one night, it was a dark and stormy night.
I've heard that somewhere.
Ooh.
It was a dark and stormy night. He actually got some renewed hope. So there you go. See, darkness is not always bad. So at the time, he was working as a derrickman on a drill rig. He was having some serious thoughts of suicide because there he is. He's on a 120-foot derrick looking down in the ocean, and he's thinking, this will be real easy. Just step off, boom, all this pain is gone. And I'm just going to read a quote that he said. He says, "My family and I have strong beliefs in Jesus, but it was not hard to contemplate suicide. It was in the worst thunderstorm I'd ever seen," which brings in the dark and stormy night. "I climbed the derrick to take my position to pull pipe out of the hole we were drilling. His coworkers had told him, don't go up there. It's too dangerous. We'd rather have some downtime than risk someone's life." And Dean thought, ooh, this is a perfect time to do this. And he kind of continued. He said, "Lightning flashed all around me. Thunder boomed. I cried to God to take me. If I couldn't have my family, I didn't want to live, but I didn't want to take my own life in suicide." Oh, he said, "I couldn't take my own life in suicide. God spared me. I don't know how I survived that night, but I did." Fast forward a couple weeks later, he bought a small Bible and he traveled to the Peace River Hills, and that's where his family had lived for quite some time. And he sat down on one of the hills and he started to read. And he said he had such a warm feeling enter into me. I'm just going to read what he said. "I had such a warm feeling enter into me as the sun parted through the clouds and shone on me. It was raining all around me, but I was dry and warm in my small spot on top of that hill." For him, he just really felt, he says that wasn't just, oh, the sun came out and I felt better. He says it just came at such a moment that it only could have been an angelic moment. And he says that that moment changed his life for the better. It was shortly after that he met his new wife. They fell in love, got married. They started a family together, which includes his 2 daughters from his first marriage. And that's going really well as far as being with his children from his first marriage. And he said, "Thank you, Lord Jesus, and the angels you sent that day to touch my soul." So there is angel story number 1. And angel story 2 and 3 are rattling around in the junk drawer, and we'll see.
We'll get to them sometime.
We'll pull those out eventually.
All right. Well, thank you, Ravyn. Sooner or later, we're going to want to get your questions and answer them. Those are really fun when we can find out what you guys are interested in and what your questions are, and have us as a panel kind of reread your questions on air and answer them and give our thoughts on those. You can send us your questions and things you want us to talk about.
And we've done one of these question answer podcasts. Oh, it's been a couple of years, and they're a lot of fun actually, because people will ask things that you don't really think about, and you go, "Oh, that is a good question."
Yeah.
Q&A, baby. Let's do it.
Send your questions to apps.wisps.contact@gmail.com, and we'll get an episode together where we'll answer some of the questions. It might be included in the Paranormal Junk Drawer. It might be a whole episode. Kind of depends on what we get.
And it's apps with one P, APS, as in Advanced Paranormal Services. Also, if you haven't gotten your Supernatural Hour swag at tpublic.com, you need to go.
I got mine. I was just presented with an early Christmas present. I have a new Supernatural Hour drinking mug that has a plastic top on it so that my metal straw doesn't.
Yeah, there's a story. So I have a friend who's a podcast listener, and so every once in a while I'll say, "Hey, how'd that go?" And she said, "I heard some metal clinking like it was a drink cup." And I said, "We have got to fix that." So I hopped on to TeePublic and got Chad it's actually a really nice metal cup, like a travel mug, but it has a plastic top.
Cup.
So his straw doesn't clink.
I got a coffee mug today.
Sweet.
That came in the mail, and a T-shirt.
Your Supernatural Hour?
Yeah, I wanted to be like Larry King, where I could just like sit at the counter and sip my beverage from time to time.
But you forgot it?
Pretend I know stuff. Yeah, I forgot it at home, of course. Just like Larry King.
I do not have any Supernatural Hour swag. I think I am missing the memo.
Well, we just got the
need to
memo.
get some.
We just got the memo this week. and Ravyn also got Supernatural Hour masks.
I did.
2 for 1.
Yeah. Occasionally they have specials on the TeePublic, so you need to hop on there and see what kind of specials they are. Go get your swag. So I hope you have a Merry Christmas / Happy Yule. Is it Happy Yule or Merry Yule or Joyous Yule?
Either or. So you can say Merry Yule, you can say Happy Yule. I'd say Happy Yule, but
Merry Christmas and Happy Yule.
Happy Yule.
All right. Hey, we'll talk to you soon.
Stay spooky, my haunty friends.
Ooh.
You've been listening to the Supernatural Hour at AdvancedParanormal.com. The Supernatural Hour is part of the Radio Ronin network found at RadioRonin.com. Copyright 2020 by Advanced Paranormal Services.